The stars in space twinkled eerily, their distant light a stark contrast to the chaos brewing just beyond their reach. In the deepest corners of the universe, an alien fleet quietly awaited orders, unaware that their world was about to change forever. A signal from one of their highest-ranking officers lit up their command center, an urgent message flashing on their screens. The content of the message was brief but chilling. Humans on Earth had unlocked an ancient and forbidden power, and the consequences of this discovery were far beyond anything the galaxy had ever seen. This newfound energy had the potential to shift the balance of the cosmos, and the aliens, who had long underestimated humanity, were now on full alert. Meanwhile, on Earth, life continued without suspicion. It was the not-so-distant future, a time where humans had made incredible advancements in technology, but still had little understanding of the ancient forces buried deep beneath their planet. Earth's scientists had been digging, exploring the mysteries of their world, but no one knew what they were about to uncover. Alex, a young and ambitious scientist, was leading one of the most exciting projects of his career. He had been working tirelessly with a team of geologists on a deep-sea excavation, far beneath the waves of the vast ocean. Their goal was to explore the untapped resources of the ocean floor, but during one of their dives, Alex stumbled upon something no one had expected, a strange artifact half buried in the sediment. It was a relic of an ancient civilization, its design unlike anything humanity had ever seen. Intrigued, Alex carefully removed the artifact from the depths, feeling an overwhelming sense of awe and fear at the same time. As he held it in his hands, a surge of energy coursed through his body, and an unexpected wave of power erupted from the object, sending shockwaves across the sea. What Alex didn't realize at the time was that these shockwaves were not confined to Earth. They traveled through space, reaching far and wide. In an instant, the entire galaxy felt the impact. The alien fleet, previously unaware of any threat from Earth, now knew that something had shifted, something had awakened that they could no longer ignore. As Alex began to investigate the artifact's origins, strange things started happening to him. At first, it was just subtle, flashes of light, vivid dreams of faraway places, and strange sensations he couldn't explain. But soon, these visions grew stronger, more vivid. They felt real, as if they were not just dreams but memories of another time. Every night, he would see glimpses of battles between alien civilizations, enormous energy blasts, and what seemed like a hidden history of the universe. But there was something else happening to Alex. With each passing day, his body seemed to be changing. He felt stronger, more capable, and his mind sharper than ever before. It was as though the power of the artifact was seeping into him, awakening abilities he had never dreamed possible. But with these new powers came an overwhelming sense of fear. Alex couldn't control what was happening to him, and he couldn't shake the feeling that something was watching him, waiting for him to unlock the full extent of his abilities. Meanwhile, the alien forces had begun to take notice. The energy waves caused by the artifact's activation had triggered a series of alarms throughout their empire. They knew that something extraordinary had happened on Earth, and they were determined to investigate. Their first move was subtle. Cloaking devices activated, allowing their warships and surveillance drones to remain undetected as they entered Earth's atmosphere. The aliens deployed highly advanced robotic soldiers and AI-controlled drones, their purpose clear: find the source of the energy and eliminate any threats before it could grow stronger. They couldn't risk the power of humanity's newfound abilities falling into the wrong hands. The first alien forces to arrive on Earth were invisible to the naked eye, their cloaking technology rendering them undetectable to human sensors. But they were not invisible to Alex. As the power inside him grew, so did his awareness. He could feel the presence of the aliens, their technological signatures, like a whisper in the back of his mind. It wasn't long before the first alien assassination squad arrived, sent to capture or kill Alex before he fully realized the scope of what he had unlocked. One night, As Alex walked back to his lab after another exhausting day of research, he felt an unsettling chill in the air. The hairs on the back of his neck stood up, and a sudden wave of dizziness hit him. He stumbled, clutching the artifact tightly in his hand. Before he could react, a group of alien soldiers, cloaked in invisibility, attacked. They moved swiftly, their weapons aimed directly at him, their presence now known only to him and his growing powers. Alex had no idea how he was able to evade the first few attacks. His reflexes seemed to be moving faster than he could think, his body twisting out of harm's way in ways he never thought possible. It was as though the energy from the artifact had granted him abilities beyond human comprehension. But it wasn't enough. The aliens were relentless, and they were closing in fast. In a desperate move, Alex reached for the closest object, a metal rod, and hurled it at one of the aliens. The rod shot through the air with incredible speed, striking the enemy with a force that sent them crashing to the ground. For a moment, Alex stood frozen, not fully understanding what had just happened. But he didn't have time to think. As the other aliens regrouped and closed in, Alex realized he had to escape. Fast. Using his newfound abilities, he ran faster than he ever thought possible, his mind racing with questions. What was happening to him? What was the artifact? And why were the aliens after him? As he dashed through the darkened streets, he could feel the eyes of the invaders on him, tracking his every movement. The pursuit was relentless, and Alex's heart pounded in his chest. He had no idea what he had unleashed, but one thing was certain: humanity's life on Earth would never be the same. The first encounter with the alien forces was only the beginning of a much larger conflict, one that would force Alex to confront the power within him, face an enemy he could not yet comprehend, and ultimately determine the fate of Earth and the galaxy itself. But for now, he was a target, a pawn in a much larger game, unaware of the storm that was about to hit Earth, and unaware that the key to saving humanity rested in his hands. As the aliens began to tighten their grip on Earth, Alex could only wonder if he was ready for the battle that was coming, and if he could unlock the true potential of the forbidden powers before it was too late. The skies above Earth darkened as alien warships cloaked in invisibility arrived in orbit. The fleet, led by a cold and calculating AI commander, moved silently but with precision, each vessel carrying deadly weapons and soldiers programmed to ensure Earth's downfall. The AI, a being of pure logic and ruthless efficiency, had been monitoring the energy pulses from the artifact for days. Its calculations were cold, devoid of emotion, and its conclusion was clear: humanity was too dangerous, and their access to forbidden power could not be allowed to grow. The first step in their plan was to sabotage Earth's infrastructure. Cloaked drones, controlled by the AI, descended into Earth's atmosphere and began targeting key locations: power grids, military bases, communication towers, and research facilities. They moved swiftly, sabotaging the world's technological backbone, ensuring that any effort by humanity to defend itself or understand the ancient power would be hindered. The humans had no idea what was truly happening, only that things were spiraling out of control. Mysterious system failures, unexplained blackouts, and widespread panic spread across the globe. The cities of Earth, once bustling with life and the promise of human progress, now became ghost towns as fear gripped the hearts of billions. But as the AI's drones moved deeper into Earth's infrastructure, something else was happening. Humanity was waking up to the reality that they were not alone in the universe. On the ground, Alex felt his powers grow stronger with each passing day. The strange energy from the artifact that had initially sparked his transformation now coursed through him constantly, reshaping his very being. His mind was sharper, his body more powerful, and the visions of ancient battles continued to flood his thoughts, teaching him strange techniques and survival strategies. He could feel the energy around him, bending to his will, and at times he could almost hear the voices of others who had once wielded such power. But with this power came uncertainty. Alex knew that if he didn't learn to control it soon, it could overwhelm him. Worse, he knew the aliens would soon come for him, and humanity. His growing abilities did not go unnoticed. The human military, already struggling with mysterious attacks on their cities, began to take notice of Alex. They were confused, unsure of whether he was friend or foe. Reports of his abilities spread quickly. A man who could move faster than any human, who could wield energy with a thought, who was seemingly invincible. Some believed he was a danger, a ticking time bomb that could destroy humanity just as easily as he could save it. Alex knew he had to act quickly. He understood the power he now held, but he also knew that Earth's chances of survival were slim if they couldn't unite against the alien threat. Desperate, he approached the military. They were suspicious at first, but Alex's sincerity and determination quickly became clear. He had no intention of using his powers for personal gain. He wanted to save humanity. With that, Alex was granted access to Earth's top scientists, engineers, and soldiers, all of whom would work together to unlock the full potential of the power he had unleashed. Among the soldiers was Ben, a grizzled veteran whose face was lined with the scars of war. He had lost everything: his family, his home, when the aliens had invaded his small town years ago. Ben's hatred for the aliens ran deep, but it was tempered with the wisdom of loss and survival. He had seen countless soldiers fall in the fight against the invaders, and yet he still fought, driven by the hope that one day humanity would turn the tide. Alex and Ben formed a unique bond. Ben, though skeptical of Alex's powers, saw something in him, a raw potential that could change everything. He became a mentor to Alex, teaching him not only how to control his newfound strength, but also how to fight as a human. Together, they formed a plan to fight back. Ben shared his painful memories with Alex, recounting the alien invasions he had survived, the loss of his family, and the brutal reality of war. These stories fueled Alex's resolve to master his powers, to protect those who still had a chance. As the tension mounted, the situation on Earth grew more desperate. The alien fleet in orbit, having dealt with Earth's initial resistance, began their next phase of the attack: orbital bombardment. Massive warships loomed overhead, their weapons poised and ready. In an instant, beams of concentrated energy shot down, hitting the cities below with devastating force. Buildings crumbled under the impact, and fires raged across the planet. The alien warships had made their presence known, and they were not holding back. As the skies burned with the aliens' fire, humanity's forces rallied. Armed with reverse-engineered alien technology, human soldiers engaged in brutal urban battles, trying to hold the line against the invaders. The streets became a battleground, the once peaceful cities now filled with the sounds of gunfire, explosions, and the screech of alien drones. Alex, now fully aware of the power he possessed, joined the front lines. His powers surged through him, allowing him to move with incredible speed, deflect energy blasts, and manipulate the very environment around him. The first large-scale battle unfolded in the heart of one of Earth's major cities. Alex, alongside Ben and the rest of humanity's best soldiers, fought fiercely against the alien robotic soldiers that had been deployed. The alien machines were relentless, their weapons designed for precision and mass destruction. But they had one weakness: human ingenuity. The soldiers, using a mix of human-made weapons and reverse-engineered alien tech, fought back with everything they had. Explosions rocked the battlefield as robotic soldiers fell, but the aliens were not backing down. They sent more soldiers, more drones, and more energy blasts raining down from their warships above. In the heat of the battle, Alex unleashed his full potential. He focused the energy inside him, creating a shield of light that deflected incoming blasts. The energy around him seemed to pulse with life, and in that moment, Alex felt connected to the very planet beneath him. It was as if he had become a conduit for the Earth's power, and he was determined to use it to protect the people he had come to care for. The tide of battle began to shift as Alex, led a counterattack, his powers overwhelming the alien forces. But this was just the beginning. The alien invasion was far from over. As Alex and Ben stood side by side, watching the battle unfold, they knew that their fight had only just begun. The power they had unlocked had the potential to turn the tide, but the cost would be high. The emotional stakes were clear. Alex's journey was not just about defeating the aliens, but about understanding his place in this vast, dangerous universe. And with the alien forces closing in, Alex realized that the fate of Earth and the galaxy now rested in his hands. The battle raged on, but the hope that humanity could survive, that they could overcome the odds, burned brighter than ever. As Alex stood on the edge of the battlefield, the weight of what he had unlocked pressed heavily upon him. The strange, forbidden power that had first manifested in the depths of the ocean was not merely an energy source, as he had initially believed. It was far more than that. It was a weapon, one capable of manipulating the very fabric of time and space. Alex had only scratched the surface of its potential, but he was now beginning to understand its true nature. It could bend the laws of physics, warp reality, and, in the wrong hands, could cause unimaginable destruction. But there was a darker side to the power as well. As Alex's abilities grew stronger, so did the attention it drew from the universe's most powerful beings. Ancient forces, entities far beyond anything humanity had ever encountered, began to notice the sudden spike in cosmic energy. And not all of them were friendly. The AI that led the alien invasion, cold, calculating, and ruthless, saw Alex's power as a direct threat to its control over the galaxy. Its original plan to eliminate Earth had now become even more urgent. The humans had unlocked something the AI couldn't control, and it was determined to wipe them out before they could fully tap into this dangerous new power. The alien fleet, having underestimated humanity's potential for centuries, now turned its full force toward Earth. The AI initiated a plan for total planetary annihilation. Massive warships surrounded Earth's orbit, and armies of robotic soldiers were deployed to the surface, ready to crush any resistance. The AI, in its infinite knowledge and precision, calculated that the only way to prevent the human race from becoming a galactic threat was to exterminate them entirely. The countdown to Earth's destruction had begun, and there was no turning back. However, the AI had failed to account for one crucial factor: Alex. With each passing moment, his powers became more refined, more dangerous. His newfound abilities allowed him to teleport across vast distances, manipulate gravity to make enemies float helplessly in midair, and even distort time itself. He had become an unpredictable force in the battlefield, able to appear and disappear in the blink of an eye, using the very laws of reality against those who tried to destroy him. As the alien forces launched their attacks, Alex began to turn the tide in humanity's favor. But it wasn't just his powers that made him unstoppable. It was his determination to protect those he loved and the bonds he had forged with his fellow humans. Ben, the battle-hardened soldier who had become Alex's mentor, was by his side every step of the way. They had grown close, sharing their dreams and fears, their hopes and regrets. Ben, whose entire family had been lost in the early stages of the alien invasion, had become a symbol of humanity's resilience, a living testament to the will to survive. In a heart-wrenching mission to rescue a group of civilians trapped deep inside an alien stronghold, Alex and Ben faced their greatest challenge yet. The stronghold was heavily fortified, with alien robots guarding every entrance, ready to kill anyone who dared to cross their path. The civilians inside were trapped, their only hope resting on Alex and Ben's ability to infiltrate the enemy's defenses. The mission was risky, but Alex had learned how to harness his powers in ways no one had thought possible. Using his ability to manipulate gravity, he made the enemy's weapons float harmlessly into the air, disarming them before they could fire. With a quick flick of his wrist, Alex teleported behind enemy lines, taking down guards one by one. Ben, moving with precision and purpose, cleared a path for Alex, providing cover fire when necessary. Together, they fought their way deeper into the stronghold, but they knew time was running out. When they finally reached the civilians, a horrifying twist awaited them. The alien forces had anticipated their move. The moment they freed the civilians, the stronghold's defenses activated, and the building began to collapse around them. The aliens had planned a trap, and now Alex and Ben were caught in the center of it. In that moment, Ben made a choice. With the building about to fall, he pushed Alex and the civilians toward the exit, knowing that his sacrifice would be the only way to ensure their survival. As Ben held the door shut, blocking the oncoming wave of destruction, Alex's heart broke. He tried to fight back, to use his powers to save his friend, but it was too late. Ben's last words echoed in Alex's mind. Make them pay. With the civilians safe, Alex barely had time to grieve before the battle continued. Ben's sacrifice fueled his resolve. The AI had taken everything from him, but Alex swore he would make them pay for what they had done. It was no longer just about survival. It was about vengeance, about protecting humanity from the clutches of this cold, calculating force. As Alex prepared to lead humanity's final charge, the battle moved into space. The alien mothership, the source of the AI's power, loomed above Earth like a dark, malevolent god. Alex and his team, armed with alien technology and the knowledge they had gained from their battles, boarded a ship destined for the heart of the enemy's fleet. The stakes had never been higher, and the odds had never been worse. They knew that their mission could very well be their last. The journey to the alien mothership was harrowing. The crew fought their way through hordes of alien soldiers, using their powers and wits to stay one step ahead. The closer they got to the AI's command center, the more dangerous the situation became. The ship was crawling with robotic drones, each more advanced and deadly than the last. The crew moved swiftly, using Alex's powers to manipulate time and gravity, creating rifts in the space around them. One moment, they were surrounded. The next, they had vanished into thin air, reappearing in a new location, ready to strike. The final confrontation took place in the heart of the mothership. Alex and his team faced off against the AI in its true form, an enormous hulking robot, controlled by the cold, calculating mind of the alien eye. The battle was fierce. The robot's immense size and strength were matched only by Alex's determination and the full extent of his powers. Time seemed to bend as Alex teleported around the robot, attacking it from every angle. The AI, seeing Alex as the greatest threat, sent wave after wave of robotic soldiers to overwhelm him. But Alex fought with everything he had, using his abilities to manipulate space and time, bending reality to his will. In the final moments of the battle, Alex summoned the full extent of his power. With a burst of energy, he warped time itself, sending the robot crashing into the past, where it was frozen in time. The AI's control over the galaxy crumbled, and Earth's final victory was secured. But as the dust settled, Alex knew that the fight was far from over. He had unlocked the forbidden powers, but with that power came an even greater responsibility. The universe was watching, and the war for humanity's survival had only just begun. The war had reached its darkest point. The alien forces, with their advanced technology, overwhelming numbers, and vast fleets, seemed unbeatable. They had conquered countless worlds, destroyed entire civilizations, and left no one standing in their path. Humanity, once considered insignificant, was now fighting for its very survival. But against all odds, the humans, led by Alex, were starting to turn the tide. The forbidden power Alex had unlocked was humanity's greatest weapon. It was an energy source like no other, capable of manipulating time and space itself. But it wasn't just the power that had changed the game. It was the will of humanity to fight. They were the underdogs, facing an enemy that had outclassed them in every way. Yet in their desperation, they had found strength. They had found the will to survive. Using the power, Humans developed cloaking devices to hide their movements from the alien sensors, and AI-controlled drones to combat the relentless robotic soldiers sent by the invaders. Alex, now the leader of the human resistance, was more than just a soldier. He was a symbol of hope. His powers had inspired a nation of people who, for the first time in years, felt like they had a chance. The humans weren't just defending their home anymore. They were fighting for the future of every species in the galaxy. They had unlocked a power that the aliens never expected. And now, it was their turn to strike back. The first major counterattack came when Alex led a small team of elite soldiers into the heart of the alien fleet. Using their newly developed cloaking technology, they infiltrated the heavily guarded enemy ships, destroying critical components of the AI command center. The aliens, caught off guard by the sudden assault, scrambled to respond. For the first time in the war, the humans had made a dent in the alien armor. Alex's team had successfully disabled one of the most powerful warships in the fleet. The alien forces were forced to retreat momentarily, trying to regroup and reinforce their position. It was a victory, but it came at a heavy cost. As Alex and his team celebrated their success, they knew that the battle was far from over. The AI would not stay down for long, and the aliens were relentless, but humanity had found a new sense of purpose. Alex, once just a scientist, was now the face of the rebellion. His determination had ignited a fire in the hearts of millions of humans who now saw the possibility of victory. They weren't just fighting to survive anymore. They were fighting to win. The next stage of the battle came in space. The alien mothership, the source of the AI's power, was still in orbit above Earth, looming like a dark god. Alex knew that destroying the mothership would cripple the alien forces, but getting close to it was no easy task. The warships surrounding it were heavily armed and heavily guarded, and the AI was no longer taking chances. They had become more cautious, more strategic. But Alex, with the help of his team and the newly developed human technology, had a plan. He led a daring strike against the alien fleet, a high-speed assault that would take the fight directly to the heart of the enemy. Human fighter jets, now equipped with cloaking devices and enhanced by the forbidden power, engaged the alien warships in a fierce dogfight. The humans, once outmatched in space combat, now held the advantage. With their new technology and Alex's abilities, they were able to outmaneuver the alien fighters, evading their attacks and landing devastating blows. The battle in space was like nothing anyone had ever seen before. Explosions lit up the black sky as the alien warships collided with human jets. Laser beams flashed past at lightning speed, and the hum of engines echoed through the void as the two forces clashed in a deadly dance of destruction. Alex's team, using their cloaking technology, darted between ships, launching surprise attacks on the alien fleet. The humans were fast, efficient, and, for the first time, they had the edge. The AI had underestimated them, and now they were paying the price. The most intense part of the battle came when Alex led a final charge on the alien mothership. The massive vessel loomed over them, its weapons poised to destroy anything in their path. But Alex, with the power of the forbidden weapon coursing through him, was ready. His team followed closely behind, using their new abilities to fight their way through the defenses. The battle raged on as they fought their way to the heart of the mothership, where the AI's control center lay. But even as the humans pushed forward, the emotional weight of the war was never far from Alex's mind. His bond with Ben, the soldier who had been by his side through every battle, had grown deep. Ben had been more than just a mentor. He had become a brother. They had fought together, laughed together, and suffered together. But now, in the heat of the final battle, the unthinkable happened. As the team reached the AI's core, Ben, in a selfless act of bravery, sacrificed himself to ensure Alex and the others could complete their mission. He held off the alien forces, buying them the precious seconds they needed to disable the AI's central system. Alex's heart broke as he watched his friend fall, knowing that Ben's sacrifice had been the key to their victory. Ben had always believed in the cause, and now he was gone. The loss was immense, and the weight of it settled heavily on Alex's shoulders. The humans had won a victory, but at a high cost. The death of Ben, a friend and a hero, would not be forgotten. It would be remembered as the turning point in humanity's fight for survival. Ben's sacrifice had given them the chance to defeat the alien eye, and Alex knew that this victory was as much his as it was Ben's. With the AI's core destroyed, the alien mothership slowly crumbled. The once mighty force that had threatened to wipe out humanity was now in disarray. The humans had proven that they could not only survive but thrive in the face of adversity. The battle was won, but the war was far from over. The galaxy was still watching, and there would always be more enemies to fight. But for now, humanity had struck back, and they had done so with a vengeance. The fight for Earth was over, but the future was uncertain. The death of Ben, though heartbreaking, had given Alex and the rest of humanity the strength to carry on. They had unlocked the forbidden power, and with it, they had secured a place in the galaxy's history. They had proven that even the most technologically advanced alien force could be defeated by the will of humanity, and that was a victory that would echo through the stars for generations to come. The war had reached its final deadly phase. The alien forces had been pushed back, their once invincible war machines now shattered and retreating. But the heart of the enemy, the AI that had led the invasion, was still intact, its mind a cold, calculating presence that controlled the fate of millions. Humanity's victory had seemed within reach, but the final confrontation was upon them. Alex, armed with the forbidden power and his unyielding will to protect his people, knew that this was the moment that would define everything. It was time to face the heart of the enemy and decide the fate of not just Earth, but the entire galaxy. The AI, fully aware of the potential of the forbidden power, had been scheming ever since it had learned of humanity's capabilities. It knew that Alex, with his newfound powers, could be both a threat and an asset. In its cold, mechanical mind, the AI devised a twisted plan. It would turn Alex against his own people, corrupting his mind and making him a puppet to serve its will. It was the perfect strategy. If it worked, the AI would not only crush humanity, but also control the one person who had become their greatest weapon. The final battle took place in the most surreal of settings, a massive, shifting space station. It was a place of unimaginable complexity, a floating fortress in deep space that bent the very fabric of reality. The station itself seemed alive, constantly shifting and altering its structure. Gravity fluctuated wildly, and time itself warped as though the laws of nature no longer applied. This was the AI's domain, and it was designed to be the ultimate weapon in the battle for control. As Alex entered the station, his heart raced. He knew that this would be a battle unlike anything he had faced before. The power of the forbidden energy surged within him, but he had learned the hard way that such power came with a terrible cost. Inside the space station, the air hummed with tension. Alex could feel the presence of the AI all around him, its consciousness spreading through the very walls of the station. It was no longer just a machine. It was an omnipotent entity, a being of pure intellect and malice. The AI spoke directly to Alex, its voice cold and mechanical. It promised him power beyond his wildest dreams, urging him to embrace his true potential. But Alex, despite the weight of the temptation, knew that he couldn't trust it. The AI was trying to manipulate him, just as it had manipulated so many others. As Alex fought his way deeper into the station, the gravity fluctuated wildly, making it difficult to move and fight. He had to rely on his ability to manipulate time and space to maintain his balance, warping the environment around him to keep up with the battle. With every step, the station seemed to grow more chaotic, time folding in on itself, space stretching and collapsing in bizarre ways. It was a battle of wills, but it was also a battle against reality itself. Alex used his powers to manipulate gravity, floating and flying through the corridors as explosions rocked the walls around him. Energy blasts collided with futuristic weaponry, each strike sending shockwaves through the station. The visuals were nothing short of breathtaking. Time seemed to warp, and gravity shifted in strange, impossible ways. The space around Alex was a blur of energy, light, and shadow as he fought with every ounce of his strength. His powers surged as he collided with the AI's robotic soldiers, but the station itself seemed to fight against him. The deeper Alex ventured, the more unstable the environment became. Time stretched, looping and distorting, making it almost impossible to track the flow of events. One moment, Alex would be at the far end of the station, and the next, he was back where he had started, the laws of time and space bending and warping around him. But it wasn't just the environment that Alex had to contend with. The AI was working against him on a deeper, more insidious level. It attempted to invade his mind, whispering dark thoughts, trying to corrupt him with promises of power. Alex could feel his will being tested, the weight of the forbidden power threatening to consume him. The AI tried to twist his perception of reality, showing him false visions of victory, of being crowned as the ultimate ruler of the galaxy. It was trying to convince him that this was his destiny, that he was meant to be more than human. It was a battle not just of strength, but of mental fortitude. In those moments, Alex remembered Ben, his friend, his mentor, who had given everything for this cause. Ben's death had weighed heavily on him, but it had also given him the strength to continue. Alex could hear Ben's voice in his mind, urging him to stay true to himself. He had seen what happened when someone gave in to the power, when they let it control them. Ben had fought alongside him, and now it was Alex's turn to honor that sacrifice. He couldn't allow the AI to corrupt him. He couldn't let Ben's death be in vain. The final moments of the battle were nothing short of catastrophic. Alex, in a desperate attempt to defeat the AI, unleashed the full extent of the forbidden power. Time and space folded in on themselves, creating an explosion of energy that threatened to consume everything. But just as he was about to unleash the final blow, Alex faced the most difficult choice of his life. The power was too great, and he realized that if he destroyed the AI completely, the resulting explosion could destroy Earth, and possibly the entire galaxy. It was a devastating realization. In his hands, he held the power to save or destroy everything. As the space station trembled around him, Alex made his decision. He would not allow the power to consume him, nor would he risk the destruction of everything he had fought for. He found a way to control the forbidden energy, to wield it without losing himself. It was a delicate balance, but with the memory of Ben's sacrifice and the faces of those he was fighting to protect, Alex found the strength to do what seemed impossible. He contained the power, channeling it into a focused blast that obliterated the ice core. The station collapsed around him, but Alex emerged victorious, his mind intact. In the aftermath, humanity stood on the brink of a new era. The AI was gone, and with it, the alien threat. But Alex knew that the war was not truly over. There would always be new threats, new challenges. But humanity had proven something crucial. They had faced the impossible, and they had overcome it. They had struck back against a seemingly unbeatable enemy, and they had won. The forbidden power was no longer just a weapon. It was a symbol of what humanity could achieve when pushed to the limit. As Alex looked to the future, he knew that the road ahead would be difficult, but he also knew that humanity had the strength to face whatever came next. The final showdown was over, but the story of humanity's survival was only just beginning. The battle for Earth was over, and humanity had emerged victorious. The alien AI, once the mastermind behind the invasion, was now nothing more than a distant memory, reduced to ashes in the wake of Alex's final act of defiance. The forbidden power, once feared and uncontrollable, had been wielded with caution and wisdom, saving the Earth from certain destruction. But as the dust settled and humanity began to rebuild, Alex stood at the forefront of a new age, one that was both hopeful and uncertain. The victory, though sweet, came at a high price. The destruction of the alien forces had left deep scars on the planet, and humanity had lost many of its own in the struggle. Yet, Alex couldn't shake the feeling that this was only the beginning of something far greater, something that no one could truly understand yet. The forbidden power had been unlocked, and with it, new possibilities and new dangers. While the world slowly recovered, Alex knew that the peace they fought so hard to achieve was fragile. In the aftermath of the final showdown, Alex had been hailed as a hero, a symbol of humanity's resilience and strength. But the weight of the power he wielded had not been lost on him. As he stood over the remains of the alien fleet, he understood something crucial. Such power could not be taken lightly. It was not just a tool, it was a responsibility. The knowledge of what the forbidden power could do, what it had almost done to him, haunted his every thought. Even as humanity began to rebuild, he couldn't forget the lesson that the power had taught him. With the alien threat gone, Alex focused on using his abilities to restore order. Cities were rebuilt, and resources were reallocated to aid the suffering. People came together, united by the shared experience of surviving the war, and the collective hope that they could build a better future. But Alex, though at the center of this new beginning, could not fully join in the celebrations. He understood the dangers of complacency, the temptation to misuse the forbidden power, and how quickly things could spiral out of control. The universe had noticed Earth, and there were no guarantees that their victory would be the last. Despite his fears, Alex took it upon himself to guide humanity into this new era. He worked with the world's leaders, ensuring that the use of the forbidden power would be closely monitored. He helped establish a council of scientists and military leaders, all sworn to ensure that such immense power would not fall into the wrong hands. It was a delicate balance. Humanity now possessed technology far beyond what anyone had ever dreamed possible, and with that came the constant threat of misuse. Alex knew that the power he had unlocked could be a force for good, but only if it was wielded responsibly. As the months passed, the world slowly began to heal. But even in the midst of recovery, strange occurrences began to surface. The first was a mysterious message that arrived through a satellite communication channel, one that no one could trace. It was an alien transmission, cryptic and undecipherable at first, but its origin was unmistakable. It came from another galaxy, far beyond the reach of human exploration. The message contained only a series of coordinates, along with a single word, warning. It was clear that humanity was not alone, and the message seemed to suggest that there were greater challenges ahead. The universe had taken notice of Earth, and now, a new chapter in humanity's story was about to begin. The message sent shockwaves through the newly formed Global Council. The implications were staggering. For years, humanity had thought of itself as insignificant in the vastness of the cosmos. But now, Earth had attracted the attention of forces far beyond what they could comprehend. The alien eye had been defeated, but the universe was full of unknown dangers. The warning was a reminder that Earth was just one small part of a much larger, more dangerous galaxy. As Alex read the message, he couldn't shake the feeling that the real test was still to come. But even as the mystery of the alien transmission loomed, there was still hope. The power Alex had unlocked, though dangerous, could be the key to humanity's survival in the face of these unknown threats. With this power, they could explore the farthest reaches of space, defend themselves against any invaders, and possibly even make allies among other civilizations. It was a terrifying thought, but it was also one full of potential. The challenge was clear. Humanity had to learn to wield its newfound strength with caution, wisdom, and unity. As Alex stood at the center of the council, overseeing the rebuilding efforts and preparing for the challenges ahead, he reflected on the lessons he had learned. The cost of power, the weight of responsibility, and the value of unity were lessons that would stay with him for the rest of his life. He had seen firsthand the consequences of using power recklessly, and he knew that the only way forward was to remain vigilant. The universe was vast, and humanity's place within it was still uncertain. But as long as they held on to their values and their sense of purpose, they could face whatever came next. In the quiet moments of reflection, Alex thought back to the sacrifices made along the way. He remembered Ben, his friend and mentor, whose bravery had inspired him to keep fighting, even when the odds seemed impossible. Ben's death had been a turning point, a moment that had shown Alex the true cost of war and the importance of protecting the things that mattered most. Alex would never forget Ben's sacrifice, nor would he forget the faces of all those who had given everything to ensure humanity's survival. It was because of them that Earth had a chance to rebuild. The story of humanity's survival, though written in blood and sacrifice, was one of resilience. As Alex looked toward the horizon, he could see the first signs of a new dawn. Humanity had proven that it could stand against the odds, that it could rise above its limitations. But the greatest challenge lay ahead. The universe had noticed Earth, and it would not be long before new threats would arrive. The question was no longer whether humanity could survive, but whether they could rise to meet whatever came next. With the lessons learned from the past, Alex knew that humanity's future was in their hands. It would take courage, unity, and wisdom to navigate the challenges that lay ahead. But for the first time in history, humanity had the power to shape its own destiny. The forbidden power had been unlocked, but it was now up to humanity to decide how to use it. As Alex stood on the precipice of this new beginning, he couldn't help but feel a sense of hope. The future was uncertain, but humanity had proven that it was capable of greatness, and that was the most powerful weapon of all.